Las Vegas is a funny place. There's oftentimes private streets that are owned by casinos, but they're oftentimes the best way to access anywhere you want to go. This is Audrey Lane, standing on the corner of Harmon and Audrey. We're going to take a walk down what's a private street that you might not ever see, but it's the best way to get to the MGM Grand if you find yourself anywhere near the monorail tracks. Let's take a walk down the street, take a look at a couple of weird things that you might not expect to see in Vegas, and let's start right now.
Viva Las Vegas. Viva Las Vegas.
Hey folks, how's it going? This is Steven with Not Leaving Las Vegas, because I live here full time and maybe you want to visit too. This is Audrey Lane. It's an interesting place, if only because you get to basically walk and bypass the entire front of the strip. We're going to take a look, see what a daycare in Vegas looks like, and check out what the monorail track looks like when you're not on the monorail track. Let's take a little bit of a walking tour, just a short little video for you today. So let's get going on our little short walk down Audrey Street. I keep calling it Audrey Lane. All right. Behind me you have what's called the MGM Grand Signature Tower. People often misconstrue these giant towers as timeshares or hotels, or just plain regular towers that you could live in. But in truth be told, they're actually part of MGM Grand's collection. And back here, this used to be an amusement park a long, long time ago when Vegas was more kid-friendly, until people realized that kids don't gamble and you can't put them in the actual casinos with you. So it got redeveloped. Now it's luxury towers. You could buy one of these things if you want to live there full time, and then it gets rented out, I guess, if with your consent, if people are actually here and staying in those same towers. To avoid the harsh sunlight on my face, you can actually see the Polo Towers. If we pan back, we can see the tippy top of the New York skyline. The next thing we're going to take a look at, though, is more interesting to me because it's not something you'd ever think of. Everybody forgets that real people live in Las Vegas, regular folks. So the next thing right here is the MGM Grand Daycare Center. Full-on time daycare if you have your little ones with you. We'll get an aerial shot of it right here so you can see what it looks like from a distance. And it's really neat to be able to look out and hear children playing and having fun in Las Vegas. MGM Resorts is known to take good care of their employees, and this is their daycare center right out here on Audrey Street in Las Vegas. Is this kind of street dangerous? I mean, would you want to be down here after dark? Well, the truth is, any part of the world is dangerous, I guess. I mean, if you're walking past right here, we have the parking garage designated only for MGM Grand employees with security. Can't park here unless you work here, and if you play here, you probably don't work here. But I wouldn't say it's dangerous. It's a place where I probably wouldn't walk after dark, but that's just me. I'm more cautious. If you got the Kung Fu styles, I guess you could always do that. But it's a great little bypass during the daytime. And we're going to take a further walk up so you guys can see where we pop out to the Strip and the MGM Grand Garden Arena. Next to the sign, you can look, it says production parking only. That's because this is the MGM Grand Garden Arena. Now, I've read that it's monorail. I've read that it's actually modeled after the MGM Grand Garden, or the Madison Square Garden Arena in New York City. That's where, of course, the New York Rangers and the New York Knicks play. So I've heard it's actually a model of that, and we got security watching over us. But this is where all the production crew would roll in. They do multiple big award shows out here, like Country Music Awards and Latin Grammys, and all these different things come to Vegas. And big productions, big prize fights, big huge tournaments, all this stuff happens at the MGM Grand Garden Arena. Thankfully, security gave me the okay to just point at this building right here. So if you're going to a big event, that's where the event's actually happening. You can get through the casino through here, but most of the time, completely closed off. This is where all the prize fights, all the big things you guys might see happen in the last 20, 30 years in Vegas have happened. Manny Pacquiao and Oscar De La Hoya and Floyd Mayweather, this would have been where they're fighting. Nowadays, they moved over across to the T-Mobile Arena. That's another video for another day, so be sure to subscribe. This goes out to the main strip. We also have the convention center. Let's walk to Tropicana though and see where this all ends up, okay? So if you want to get to the strip, where do you gotta go? Well, that's easy. You would simply hook right off here, walk down here, and boom, before you know it, you're at the Park MGM Grand. You're in front of a Denny's. You're ready to go watch a hockey game. However, take a little gander down here. This goes out to where they built the brand new convention center, the valet of the MGM Grand. And we also find ourselves in front of the fabulous Hooters Las Vegas Resort and Casino. So one thing that most people don't know, and I certainly didn't know until just very recently, is that Audrey Street is owned privately by MGM Resorts International. Meaning that when big giant events happen over there at the MGM Grand Garden Arena, they can close off this strip of road to traffic entirely if they so see fit. After the big giant massacre here in 2018 or 2017 in October, they had another event just about a month later. They had snipers on rooftops in SWAT gear and completely closed access to this street entirely, just to make sure that nothing crazy was going to happen that would harm or injure or put anybody in harm's way. This can cause some headaches if you're planning on taking Audrey Street to go out to the main strip, but all you have to do is plan ahead, check your local traffic app or your Maps application, and make sure that you have plenty of time if you do decide to sit in the sometimes intense traffic that tends to hit up Audrey Street. So there's just a little bit of food for thought for you. A resort company so big that they own the literal streets in Las Vegas. I don't know if any other resort company does own the streets in Las Vegas, but that just blows my mind. I hope it blows yours too. Noticed is this taxi line. We walk down past taxis for a very long time. Taxis in Vegas are everywhere. If you haven't seen it already, go look at our rideshare versus taxi video. But I have quite a long line of taxi cabs behind me. taxi cabs of every type, shape, and color. So if where you're from taxis are boring, they're anything but here in Las Vegas. But there are also probably close to 150, a dozen. I didn't really count. Just going to feed the MGM Grand's valet right over here. Pretty remarkable if you ask me. So basically right now, we get to the end of the monorail tracks. We look across the street and we have Hooters Hotel and Casino. And this is Tropicana Ave, a major thoroughfare that runs east and west in the city. Right over here you can see the main valet area of the MGM Grand, where all those taxis are ending up. So you have a bit of a shortcut if you want to bypass the main strip. You have a bit of an interesting walk if you want to see a part of Vegas that you've never seen before. And you have a story to tell if you get run over by a crazy taxi driver in Las Vegas. But I hope that never happens to you. And then again, I guess they have insurance, don't they? We have today's walk and talk and a little bit of history and a little bit of cool stuff you might not have known about Vegas. Standing in front of the MGM Grand. I'm going to take a walk back on the strip. No, I'm going to take the bypass because I need to get back to where I was going. If you're in Vegas, you want to go ahead and get some free stuff, you guys want to pad your wallet a little bit, why don't you hit us up at vegasforfreenow.com, or you guys go ahead and send us a message or send us a text message. We have the text message in the video below. This is Steven for not leaving Las Vegas because I live here full time. I love it and I think you will too. Hope to see you on a future trip. If you're just browsing through, make sure you click the subscribe button and hit that little bell so you know when you get some more awesome videos with stuff about Vegas that I know you didn't know before. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.